Colin, Joey Diaz, and they're talking about somebody who I love to bring up on this channel, and that's Donald J. Trump. But it's not just that, right? They're talking about the good that he did. They're talking about who he is. But Joe Rogan also goes into a rant about the people being fed up. I think that's, as much as I love Trump, that's the real focal point of this clip, in my opinion. And then we're just talking about where Trump could lead the country, where Biden could lead the country, what could happen if Trump gets elected, what could happen if Biden gets elected, and also a certain gentleman, Ron, drops out of the presidential race. Shocker. I'm going to play a couple of clips of that as well. Don't forget about IamCoachColin.com. Check it on out. We got Soul Not For Sale. We got Public Enemy #1. We got multiple Soul Not For Sale designs, just so you know. And we have the Great Resist. Do not join the Great Reset. Join the Great Resist instead. Discount code is IamCoachColin. All capital letters, all one word. 1 L in the name Colin. Let's get this clip started.
And could have 20,000 indictments and still lead the presidential fucking in our country. This is why America's America. How can fucking somebody have 92 fucking indictments? He's in New York yelling yesterday.
Yeah.
But he still has 50% of the fucking country on lockdown. Right? Isn't that like he's beaten Nikki Haley and the other guy?
Well, because it appears that they're prosecuting him for political purposes.
Yes, they are. I mean, I'm not a political guy, and I'm telling you, they just keep fucking throwing things at this poor guy.
They're throwing things at him also that don't make sense. Like we talked about the Mar-a-Lago thing a bunch of times, where they tried to say that he overvalued Mar-a-Lago, and the judge said it's worth $18 million. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that. There's not a fucking human alive that thinks that place is only worth $18 million.
Did you see who raised his hand this week?
Who?
Sammy the Bull.
What'd he say?
Talking about fucking Trump. He's great. We can never corrupt him. The mafia can never.
The Italians love Trump.
Who?
The Italians. They love
He's
Trump.
uncorruptible. He was saying it the other day. I'm like sitting there scratching my head going, fucking Sammy's a savage. Yeah. He's a savage.
Yeah, this is a strange time because there's people that are trying to paint everybody that's supporting Trump as being a white supremacist or a racist or an anti-immigration person or anti-human rights person. You want to vote in a dictator. They're trying to say the most ridiculous versions of what most of it is. Because what most of it is people that are fed up. They're fed up with the open border. They're fed up with the increasing government scrutiny on things like social media. They're fed up with the influence that big companies have over the things you do and don't do in this country. They're fed up with us being in these fucking wars, constantly being involved in wars. And they know that Trump was one of the few guys that when he was in office, we didn't get into more wars. We didn't. They did do a great job of stopping ISIS. They did a lot of things with the economy that seemed to have been working. I'm not an economist. I'm not the guy to have this conversation with. If you want to talk about policies and what's effective, it's not effective. I'll tell you what's not effective. What's going on right now. What's going on right now is not good. And you want to continue this, you're out of your fucking mind. You look at the just sheer raw numbers of dollars that we sent to other countries this year, that you have to realize that if you wanted the country to be better, you would have spent that money here.
On us.
And if you spent that money on us and it stays in America, you got American jobs that make American cities better. You could have done a fucking substantial amount of rebuilding American cities with $170 billion. There's so much they could have done that could have elevated so many lives. And they didn't do any of it.
We're just talking about it. Buffalo,
yeah.
Cleveland, Pittsburgh,
yeah.
All these cities up north, New York and all that. They need a boost up there,
They
man.
need something, man.
Cleveland needs a boost. I went to Pittsburgh last year after the pandemic. Half the fucking town was closed, brother.
Yeah.
Places had closed down. I'm like, come on. Something like a good restaurant closed down. How can they close down?
Think about the impact of you can't have any business for 3 years. No business. It's over. I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe's dad lost his restaurant. Tony Hinchcliffe's dad had a restaurant in Youngstown, Ohio for like 25 fucking years. And he couldn't, he's getting by. He was getting by. He's doing well, getting by, making money, good restaurant, like real Italian food. Fucking goes under. It's like, God damn it. You didn't even give people the option of what they wanted to do, and you were wrong. And no one is punished for it. They were wrong. They shouldn't have had us locked down for that long. They were wrong. None of that shit made sense. All that 6-foot social distancing, Fauci now admits it's all bullshit. They just came up with that number. People just started saying that number. Remember those stupid stickers on the ground at the bank? You had a sticker. You weren't allowed to stand here, and then the other person has to say 6 feet in front of you, and you stand there. You're not allowed to get close. It's all nonsense. It was all nonsense. And they scared the fuck out of people, and they kept businesses closed. And they closed restaurants in Los Angeles. They closed outdoor dining just because of the optics of it. because COVID started to surge. There was no evidence at all that it was causing outdoor transmission, and they closed those fucking things down. They shouldn't be allowed to have that kind of power over whether or not you can make a living and the choices that you make, because they are just human beings too. And not only are they often uninformed, they're often misinformed, they're often absolutely victims of some sort of corporate propaganda that they've been used as a mouthpiece to promote, and they're affecting these people that have worked their whole lives for 20, 30 years. And it's such a selfish, shitty, fucked up way to run a city, and a selfish, shitty, fucked up way to run a country. And you didn't listen to all the experts, and you didn't take into consideration people's health, mental health from losing their jobs, how many people would have been fine, how many people need this fucking medicine that you're trying to push on them, and how many don't, and who's making the money off of it. The whole thing was insane, and it was right in front of your face, because we live in 2024, and the fucking internet is everywhere. You can't run these giant scams like this, where you're just fucking over the whole country without everybody just being able to piece it together at the end of the scam, and go, well, now we know how they do it. Look at, they all were working in cahoots together. They were literally paying media companies to shame people that were anti-vaccine. The government was involved in censoring social media posts. Wild shit, Joey. Wild shit. So for people to go through all that and lose their business and be on the other side, and then Trump comes along and he's like, that's enough. You can't just label all those people as white supremacists. You can't label all those fucking people as hateful bigots, because that's not what it is. They don't want any more of this. They're tired of this nonsense that you're shoving down people's faces. They're tired of it. So that doesn't mean that they're evil. And this narrative is stupid. This narrative that everyone on the other side that disagrees with you doesn't see the like fundamental problems the way things are being run right now. Everyone is hateful. Everyone supports a dictator. You guys are out of your fucking minds.
And then we got Cuba. And they're dying of starvation still. So
what are they doing now that Castro's dead? Is his son running it? Who's running Cuba? They're not having elections.
No, elections.
They should bring back the mob. That's when it was running
They
smooth.
don't even have fucking paper.
That's when it was running smooth.
Shit, man.
They used to love going. People used to love going to Cuba. It used to be the place to go. They had gambling there. They would go and gamble. So, like famous people used to go to Cuba before the revolution, right? Like
what's the guy's name you introduced me to today? He owns a company. Really nice, sweet guy.
Oh, Brigham from Waste to Well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and him had a tremendous conversation because he went to Cuba and he had to get a visa as a student or something. And he was blown the fuck away. But he was more blown away about going into those palaces and those casinos. And they still have pictures of the people sitting where Sinatra and fucking Brando and Rock Hudson and all these, we don't even know. We don't even know how many planes would go down every day with fucking people from here. It was amazing.
I'll tell you one thing. You ask a Cuban in Miami who they're voting for, you're going to get a red wave, son. You want to talk about people that vote Republican. You want to talk about people that don't want to hear no bullshit about socialism. Shut the fuck up. Cubans will yell at you. If you want to talk that nonsense woke hippie shit about Marxism, they will fucking yell at you.
That is not the type of shit to talk about those people.
Oh, those people have actually felt it. They escaped it.
The other night I'm sitting there, Joe, and they're talking about Trump on something, CNN or something. And I had to stop and go, I could just imagine what Cubans in Miami are saying in Spanish. It is fucking hilarious.
No.
They love Trump.
They love Trump.
Because I just spoke to a cousin of mine, and he's like, Trump de pinga. And I'm like, oh my God.
They love Republicans.
They love Trump. And I could just imagine them going, oye, ¿en qué país?
Yeah.
¿En qué país un tipo que lo están vigilando con toda la pinga esta todavía puede ser presidente de los Estados Unidos? For a Cuban, they fucking love that shit. What I just said was, what other country? Caballero, tell me, what other country can you have 30 indictments and still be fucking president of the United States? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's only one. I mean, maybe there's another country that could
If you don't give me that fucking can, I'm going to stab you soon.
Why?
Open it, because are you trying to open it?
No. I can
oh,
open
my
it
God.
easy.
I'm like,
no, my God, I can open it like that.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
no, I'm just playing with it. Sorry. You're not struggling with it?
I'm like,
that's hilarious.
Now, what is that?
No. It's nicotine pouch.
They good?
Oh, yeah, they're good. You want one?
What flavor?
This is spearmint.
Am I going to fucking get dizzy?
No, you get a little excited. Check this. Put that motherfucker between your cheek and gum. That's 6 milligrams. You can handle it. Oh, no. Take it in. Take it in the side. There you go. Let's go, Joey. Woo, right? Like right away. You're like, Jesus. Yeah, the whole presidential election, the thing that scares me is if the Democrats stay in power and Biden stays in power, if you have the same administration, we're headed in the same exact direction as we are right now. And if Trump gets into office, then people are going to freak the fuck out. And then there's probably going to be riots. There's probably going to be some craziness. Probably going to be violence. Probably going to be organized stuff too. There's probably going to be nefarious groups that organize people to start civil unrest. That's a real thing. You know, whatever those groups are, whoever you want to call them, that's a real thing. Whether it's Antifa, whatever you want to say. Groups of human beings that will purposely start civil unrest in order to push a narrative about a political movement that the people are tired of Trump, they're evil, you know, they're hateful. You know what? Jim Brewer has a fucking great bit.
Very true. Very true. Now, here's the thing. And you know what? I'll play a clip of Ron DeSantis dropping out of the election, as he should, endorsing Trump, as he should. But that's very true what Joe Rogan's saying. Biden gets elected, it's going to be more of the same. And how much further can all of this go? Everything that you're seeing, from the border situation to, you know, the inclusivity that's sweeping the nation, the woke culture that is just on the rise, just constantly going up. How much more can everyone really handle, you know? And then if Trump gets elected, right? It's, you know, for a lot of people, obviously the people who vote for him, oh, happy day. But there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be angry, really angry. And to what lengths are they going to go? You know, I have no idea. And Joe says, like, it could get organized. That's very true. You know, whoever the people are, a bunch of people could just get together and say, we're going to do this and make it look like this and this and that. And I'll say, honestly, it could happen the other way too. You know, we talk about left and right. So it's not like one side's angelic and the other side's demonic, you know, although the other side is demonic a little bit, but the right side is not just all angels. There could be people that do the same thing when Biden gets elected. This election is so divisive, so important, but also so divisive, because there's just going to be people who feel like they lost, you know? You know, when you take Trump off a ballot, it feels like you don't get your shot at democracy. You don't get to actually play in the game of democracy. But whoever is elected, because it's not going to be Nikki Haley, obviously. It's not happening. It's just not. Right? It's not going to be Nikki Haley. So it's obviously going to be Trump or Biden. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I don't know. I really don't know. People are going to be really upset. Biden gets elected, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be really upset. And they're going to feel like it wasn't fair, and something happened, and something was tampered with. And if Trump gets elected, people are going to say the same thing. And they are going to kind of go on this tirade. I mean, we saw it when Trump was elected the first term that he served. There were people, you know, from the first day, from before he was elected, just talking about running for president, just running his campaign, he was hit with a series of lawsuits. And it didn't stop. Like, it didn't make the media as much. There were certain organizations that were constantly filing lawsuits against him the entire time. Right? News organizations attacking him constantly. I mean, Trump gets elected, CNN is going to become relevant again. Do you want a world where CNN becomes relevant again? That should be Biden's campaign. He's going to be like, hear me out, people on the right. Hear me out, MAGA Republicans. Do you want a world where CNN becomes relevant again? Everybody's going to be like, I don't know. I don't like Anderson Cooper. I don't like him at all. They're going to bring back Don Lemon, you understand. Do you want a world where Don Lemon comes back? Brian Stelter? That could be a good thing to run on. Let's play. We'll talk about this more. Let's play Ron DeSantis. He actually dropped out. That is pretty remarkable. Pretty remarkable that you dropped out. I did not think that would happen. And I'm not super happy to see it, but I mean, I would pick Trump over him, obviously.
The decline of this nation requires leadership that delivers big results for the people we are elected to serve. I have a record of leading with conviction, championing an agenda marked by bold colors, delivering on my promises, and defeating the people who are responsible for our nation's decline. That is the type of leadership we need for all of America. Now, over the past many months, Casey and I have traveled across the country to deliver a message of hope that decline is a choice and that we can, in fact, succeed again as a nation. Nobody worked harder, and we left it all out on the field. Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over.
Wow. Look at that. That's amazing. That kind of talk makes me almost want to see him as vice president. That was... What on earth? Did you guys see that? I have no idea what just happened on my screen. But let's play Donald Trump now responding to what Ron DeSantis said. Let's go.
Before we begin, I'd like to take time to congratulate Ron DeSantis and, of course, a really terrific person who I've gotten to know, his wife, Casey, for having run a great campaign for president. He did. He ran a really good campaign, I will tell you. It's not easy. They think it's easy doing this stuff, right? It's not easy. But as you know, he left the campaign trail today at 3 p.m., and in so doing, he was very gracious, and he endorsed me, so I appreciate it. I appreciate that, and I also look forward to working with Ron and everybody else to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We will have to get him out. He's put our country at great peril, So I just want to thank Ron and congratulate him on doing a very good job. It's a tough situation.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. So we'll see what happens from here. You know, I think her name is Kayleigh McEnany, something like that. I'm always mispronouncing that name. It's really hard. But she said something interesting that I think is showing in the polls currently, is that just because someone drops out, those votes don't automatically all go to Trump, which you think they would given DeSantis and what he represents and what he did as governor and the kind of people that were following him. It actually shows recently in some polls, Trump is at 56%, I believe. And then Nikki Haley was sitting at about 39%. And then there was somebody below. I forget who that was, but she is trailing him. So everybody who now was a part of the DeSantis fold is now going towards Trump and Nikki. So, but DeSantis did endorse Trump, which is great to see. Who knows what that leads to? I would love to see that lead to him going for vice president, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Vivek, him, the Trojan horse theory that both of them have on them, that whole stigma. I have no idea who it's going to be. I really thought it was clear to me, but seeing DeSantis drop out, now I'm like, I have no idea. But going back to what Joe Rogan was talking about, and Joey Diaz, man, what is going to happen? People are very fed up. I mean, I've talked about it so many times before. Yuri Bezmenov. And not just to talk about him, but talk about the 4 steps that he talks about. Demoralization, destabilization, crisis, normalization. You see that happening constantly. People are really fed up. People are fed up of, having to be ashamed of being white, having to be ashamed of being black, or just because you're black, you're infinitely suppressed or oppressed by everything and everyone and every news article and every movie, and there's a constant fight to I want mine. I want it to be even. That movie had a white character. I want it to be a black, like, you know, erasing history, all this stuff. Then constantly having to be within wars, giving money to fight wars, you know, a bunch of things. I've talked about this at length. You know, I have a lot of friends who are for Israel, from Israel. But when I look at everything that's happening, it's like, especially when it all did happen, I was like, well, you know, there's still things to focus on in America. And you're taught to be ashamed of that. If you're somebody who's America first, you are instantly xenophobic. You are instantly somebody who could be considered racist. You're instantly somebody who should be ashamed of themselves. You have it easy. You have it so easy. How dare you want to think about what's going on in your own streets and neighborhoods? It's so wild. But again, it gives way to that whole demoralization. You being ashamed of where you come from, of the color of your skin, whether it be white or black or anything, that is demoralization. Then having to give money to war, money that could be, like Joe said, could be used in your own communities, having to give that money away, that is destabilization. Open borders is destabilization. The constant pressure that everybody's feeling, it's just demoralization, destabilization constantly. And then crisis. Hey, the crisis is over there. It's over there. It's over there. And for some reason, they make you not acknowledge the crises that are going on in your own neighborhoods, at your own border. It's odd. It's odd the way it's done, but it's so apparent. If you're willing to look, it's so apparent. Now, again, all the love in the world for Israel in that whole conflict and figure it out. But there's so much, like, tell that to somebody who's in Philadelphia and they're from Kensington. Tell them that any tax dollars they get should go elsewhere. Tell them about, you know, $170 billion going elsewhere. And then they look outside and there's junkies feet away from their houses, breaking into their cars. You're in downtown LA. Tell that to those people. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to be like, there's a war zone here. Like a war, like, you just hear it? You hear the gunshot? I want that dealt with. I was in a store yesterday. 19 guys came in and looted the store. I didn't know what they were going to do. They took everything. They closed the store. Stores are getting boarded up. Not because of anything, just because of people looting. Like, I don't know, man. And then on top of that, years before, just a few years before all of that nonsense was going on, they're talking about defunding the police. So the people who are supposed to defend you now have their hands tied. The people who are doing the crime are being looked at like, oh, they just need bread and they're oppressed and it's fine. Just let them do what they have to do. It's such a wild concoction, you know? And again, going back to Biden, you know, is Biden the one saying this should happen, this should happen, this should happen, this should happen to the stores, this should happen in Philadelphia, this should happen with the drugs and this and that? It's not all of his problem, but on his watch, this is what's happened. It's expanded more and more and more and more. 10,000, 20,000 people a month coming in completely undocumented. You have no idea who they are. So, you know, I get it. There's different stages of government. So he's not directly responsible, but all of this is happening on his watch. It just is. So how much more can happen? How many more people across the border? 10 million? 20? 30? And you have no idea who they are? I don't know if that's ever happened in history where 30 million people, and obviously that's not the number that's come up, but it is in the millions, and you have no idea who they are. That's like unprecedented. What country allows that? And now we're getting to the point where the Border Patrol and the authorities in Texas are now butting heads because the Border Patrol is allowed to cut down barbed wire in certain places and allow people through. But it's getting so crazy. How much more can you take of that? And you do have to look at it as this is Biden's fault. And then again, Trump gets elected. What's gonna happen in terms of chaos because of that. I don't know. It's so hard to tell because Trump's going to come with law and order, right? As soon as he comes with the law and order, there's going to be something that's going to press against that really hard. There always is, you know? And that's going to be chaos. Where's the chaos going to come from? Maybe from the people who just got let in? I don't know. Trump's talking about doing a mass deportation. What happens then? How many people that have come over are like, I'm not going back? What happens then? And here's the thing, right? I'm talking about two people who are like presidential candidates. Civil unrest, because, you know, I get it. Trump is amazing. I have shirts with his face on it, for God's sakes. I know. But when you are running the establishment, when you are high up running the establishment, president status, civil unrest benefits you. It always benefits you because now you have the choice, because you literally have the choice to be like, let it go wild. And you also have the choice to go, no, we're going to put our foot on everybody's neck immediately, right now, to the nth degree. What are we allowed to do? Let's do all of that and more. So it benefits them either way. It's like there's so much chaos that I have to be daddy and I save all of you, or there's so much chaos that I step in and I just say, well, now you have the military on the street corners. Too bad. You couldn't keep yourself in check. I don't know, man. It doesn't benefit the people, but we'll see what happens, because it's definitely not going to be Nikki Haley. I'm really curious to see who's Trump's vice president is. Really, really curious, because apparently he's already chosen. And the thing is, I was like, it's Vivek, because Vivek's endorsing him. He's on stage with him. But then all of a sudden I saw the same thing with Tim Scott. We're probably going to see the same thing with Ron DeSantis and Trump. So now you really can't tell. And then there was the whole wild card of Tucker Carlson possibly. I'll be happy if he just walks in his daughter and just says, Ivanka, that's it. It's you. Hi. I'll be happy if I see that. I couldn't tell you who it's going to be. I could not tell you. I don't think it's going to be Tucker. Tucker is running a media empire and it's only growing more and more, you know? Like at this point, if I saw Joe Rogan step on stage, I'd be like, oh, okay. Didn't see that coming. I can't see anybody coming right now. I don't know. So you know what? Actually, somebody mentioned Carrie Lake in the comments section. A couple of people did. Carrie Lake. Could be. There's also a Christy Nome, I believe her last name is pronounced. She's amazing. It could be her as well. But I just feel like for some reason it's going to be one of these bigger names. But Carrie Lake would be good. You know, Christy Nome I think would be good. She's like all American. Like look into her. She's fantastic. But we'll see. Other than that, guys, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Share the video. It helps tremendously. Share it. Send it to a friend and be like, hey, watch this. Sit and watch this from beginning to end, please. Just tell them to do you a favor, you know, so you guys can talk about it after. Other than that, I am out.